tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. Everybody thought it was going to be a really good deal, especially because they're going to cut income tax, except for when our portfolio started tanking. And we just have a recovery. But is this recovery a fake out, or are we going much higher, quicker, or lower? Guys, today I'm going to break down this video. It's very important that you pay attention. Where we are in the market cycle. What is the actual meaning and purpose of Trump going out and placing everybody on tariffs? Mexico, Canada, even talking about Europe and all the BRICS nations as well. People started to think that this is going to be an international trade war and our markets are done for. But there's a reason, a specific reason why all of this is happening. I'm going to break that down for you guys today. And it's really important that you understand this because the market is giving you opportunities like you wouldn't believe. Now, just the past couple of days, I've been looking at my timeline on crypto Twitter and people saying how they basically lost their life savings, that they can't believe they've done this, they should have stayed in Bitcoin, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to address all those things today, guys. It's a really exciting show and it'll paint a picture into the future of the global macro environment. So guys, if you're excited for this breakdown of what's going on and where we are in the markets, do me a favor, destroy the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, hit that bell notification so you get these videos when they come out because I'm very busy and unfortunately, I'm sorry I don't make the videos at the same time every day, but they are time sensitive. So hit that notification bell and share this with a friend. Share this with a friend because everybody needs this information. I was able to capitalize on this literally right before I made this video, just waiting for a signal. And I'm going to tell you what that was right now. So let's get into it. All right, guys, we're going to go over here and we just started using LBank lately as an exchange. I put an affiliate link down in the description below, guys. If you sign up to LBank and you deposit $100, you can get access to my VVIP group where I share all the alpha. But importantly, look at this. We had the markets falling off of a cliff essentially and bottoming out at like 91, almost 91,000. And then we got a rebound today off some news. Now we're almost 99,000 again. And if we look at the altcoins on the daily, you can see which ones are bouncing pretty good over here. And if we look at the hourly, even way more. This is because this is brand new breaking news that just flipped the market, at least to not be so panicked. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But guys, there was $2.3 billion in liquidations from leverage trading. Oh, also in this video, we're going to talk about market making, market manipulation, and what's really going on, why this happened. This is the largest liquidation since FTX. I think in crypto history ever. It's insane. And there's certain people who are making a killing off of it, and it isn't you and me, but I'll tell you guys about that in just a second here. So let's start off with tariffs, right? And the White House has released a fact sheet detailing the tariffs set to take effect on the February 4th. It was simple, 25% for Canada, 25% for Mexico, and 10% for Chinese. But basically, if you listen to what Trump says, he can't tell the leadership over there what to do just like that. So what he can do is he can put tariffs on and say, well, if you help us get rid of illegal immigration, if you help us control the border, if you help us stop the flow of fentanyl into America, okay, then we can get rid of these tariffs. But for now, until you do something about it, stop sending all these criminals to our country and stop letting all these drugs flow through freely, then we're gonna place tariffs. Now, Joshua over here says, Trump's strategy, place tariffs, crash markets, increase USD value, which I think this is not what the objective is, actually to decrease USD value, cause a trade war, which I'm also about, but this is the thing. And then he's going to negotiate historical trade deals, reduce tariffs, cut rates, back to quantitative easing, take credit for the booming markets. That's right. So last, Anthony Popoliamano comes over here and talks about Trump's last administration, right? He talks about when he cut down federal income tax and he put on the tariffs. But now we have Doge, and wow, we should make a whole video just on Doge and how they're cleaning up government spending like crazy. Did you guys see? You guys must have saw. The government sent a resignation letter to every single federal employee, like 2 million of them, and said, you have to come back to work in office Monday through Friday, or if you don't want to, you can just reply to this email and say resign, and we'll pay you the next 8 months of salary, and you're done. And this is actually crazy. All different ways that they're getting rid of spending money. If you just follow Doge, it's just unbelievable. So guys, the markets always give us at least one of these opportunities, right? One of these big, one of these big bear traps, right? Where we've seen this, and then a big pullback. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like yesterday I was pretty much as poor as the bear market. So all of our alts were down like 50 to 70 to 80%. It was unbelievable, but it could be another amazing buying opportunity. The problem for me though, guys, is I just didn't have any more cash. Like I'm fully deployed. So I'll tell you what I did toward the end of the video, but I had to do a couple things to be able to make some moves here. I'm not gonna play the video, but Trump talked about how Mexico and Canada owe us a bunch of money and I'm sure they're gonna pay. And that was part of the discussion, but it probably doesn't matter how much is owed. What's more important is that Trump gets what he's asking for. And I'll show you why that's gonna happen. Because Mexico exports to US 35% of the GDP. Okay, now US exports to Mexico only 1.2%. So who do you think is gonna hurt a lot more having a 25% tax put on your exports? Well, obviously Mexico's gonna get, they're gonna lose big time. Canada exports to US 22% of GDP, and US exports to Canada 1.5%. Again, same thing. What do you think? America really has all of the power right here. So as much as the US markets and cost of goods and things like that might get a little bit more expensive on certain things that maybe import parts of manufacturing or something like that from these countries, the fact is that Mexico and Canada will go into like severe economic issues if this is not worked out. So Elio had a really good post over here and basically talking about how Trump has been doing everything he promised: immigration, crypto protections, dismantling alphabet agencies, DEI and all this stuff, tariffs. The only thing that he can't really do, and it hasn't done so far, is get the Fed and Jerome Powell under control. So what can he do to get the rates lower and get Jerome Powell to force him to lower the rates? Well, he's got to tank the markets a little bit. But there's no chance that he intends to F the markets over the long term. So in Elio's view, this is a quantitative easing and stimulus markets. And if those happen, we will get a wet and wild bull as promised. Again, I feel horrible for being wrong here. But anyway, I think that these tariffs on Mexico and Canada are going to go like that. China, we'll see, but it's not, that's a pretty big one. I don't know. But then another one too is, the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, everyone looking at 100% tariff if they try to not use the US dollar, which is crazy. So here we go, guys. This is the breaking news that just happened like an hour ago. Breaking: Mexico's president says tariffs will be paused for 1 month after her discussion with President Trump. As part of pausing tariffs, Mexico will deploy 10,000 National Guard troops to help secure the border, work with the US on security and business, and markets started surging after that. And to give you a little bit more detail, look at this. Breaking: the S&P 500 surges more than 50 points off its low on the news of US-Mexico tariff being paused for 1 month. It's going to be paused longer than 1 month as long as Mexico actually does what they said they're going to do, cracks down on the border, stops allowing illegal immigration, and stops allowing the drug trade to come through. Because President Trump mostly posts on Truth Social. This is a cool account to follow, at Trump Daily Posts, and it just basically copies and pastes his posts from Truth Social over to X. So this is from Mr. POTUS himself. I just spoke with President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico. It was a very friendly conversation wherein she agreed to immediately supply 10,000 Mexican soldiers on the border separating Mexico and the United States. These soldiers will be specifically designed to stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal migrants into our country. We further agreed to immediately pause the anticipated tariffs for 1 month period, during which she will have negotiations headed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent, and Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, and high-level representatives of Mexico. I look forward to participating in those negotiations with President Sheinbaum as we attempt to achieve a deal between our two countries. I think there's like a call with Trudeau or something like that, like now or in an hour from now or something. So just a little bit more thought going into these, just so you can see kind of the mindset here on both parties as they're going into these discussions. The deal announcement set a huge precedent for trade war going forward. Here's what it means. President Trump is making it clear that his objective with tariffs is to obtain a deal, not keep tariffs running indefinitely. Mexico's president says she approached President Trump with the deal. This is very important. This tells other leaders that a deal can be reached, and we think other leaders will do the same. If President Trump wants to achieve objectives with tariffs, those objectives should be well outlined in advance. The goal of tariffs is clearly not to completely erase the U.S. trade deficit, and President Trump is aware of inflation risk for long-term tariffs. Tariffs are meant to reduce trade deficit, but they are also tied to other policy topics that have waterfall economic effects on the U.S. Mexico's president says President Trump insisted on addressing trade deficit, but she pushed back and a deal was met, further emphasizing point number 5. Markets rising sharply on the news confirms that this new precedent will likely lead to more deals. So we shall see, guys, but I had a feeling over the weekend it wasn't going to last very long. Now, I'm not going to get into too much depth here because it's pretty disgusting and crazy, but just so you know, like all the exchanges like Binance and market makers, big market makers, even Coinbase, they always take advantage of these kind of news events to manipulate markets like crazy and shake out retail so that they can buy it cheaper and that they can also open short positions. So I'll just read a little bit. Market makers like Wintermute manipulate prices through circular trading. Binance sells to Wintermute, who sells to Coinbase, then back to Binance, who are all market makers. This inflates trade volume without real demand, pushes price down. By dumping assets, they trigger fear, stop losses, and liquidations, fueling shorts and driving prices lower. Retail traders panic sell, while market makers profit from shorts and buy back cheap. It's a controlled cycle to manipulate sentiment and price. Beware of these tactics. I mean, and then I even saw a post from the guy who founded Bybit or something saying, 2.3 is not the real number, it's more like 10 billion. Ha 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 ha. Because these exchanges are making all of this money. So basically, I don't need to read all of this, guys, but they're get a little bit of bad news. They start dumping hundreds of millions of dollars in the market, pushing the price down, scaring everybody. This gets everyone else to panic sell because there's already the news, the markets are dumping, and then it gets down further and further. And then as the shorts get liquidated, they sell, that goes further and further. And it's cascading. These exchanges make a killing. The market makers make a killing by opening shorts. And it's just massive, disgusting manipulation. And you guys need to be aware of it. And this is why using leverage is really, really dangerous. Big leverage, it's like, especially, leverage trading. I do it for fun, right? But I've seen some posts today where people said that like they themselves and people that they know essentially lost their life savings from getting liquidated with their whole bag, which is absolutely nuts. Marty Party did some really good research over here at Marty Party Music. If you want to go and investigate it more, there's just not so much to look at other than there's massive market manipulation happening. That's really why the price went down. It wasn't really because people were afraid this was going to be the next COVID. That was just the narrative that helped the market makers kill it. And so Binance sending hundreds of millions in crypto to Wintermute to force capitulation. And update, Max Payne has been flushed. Exchanges are sending stables to Wintermute and Symbolic to buy the dip and run the prices back up. Spot buyers do the same. So this was as of 2:50 in the morning yesterday, meaning that the flush is dead and that now the market makers are putting stablecoin into the exchanges for them to start buying up the dip. So they sold up here, bam, shorted it, and now we're buying back lower. Quentin says, you wished you had bought during the COVID crash, which was brutal. If you guys don't remember that. Horrible day for me. I was leveraged like crazy and I lost more Bitcoin than I care to share. I learned my lesson. This liquidation is bigger than COVID wick, but you're scared of this crash. And so one of the things that I was doing earlier was because like I was adding more collateral to my Aave position so that I could sleep at night because my loan to value ratio was getting a little low. And so, yeah, I didn't want that to happen again. But when the prices started pumping, I was like, my greedy mind was like, oh, what can I go buy? I should borrow some more money. I was like, no, just chill. Because we don't know, just because it recovered from 91 to 98 doesn't mean it might not crash back down again to 85 or something like that. Andrew Kang says, buying liquidation cascades like these are one of the 5 times a year you shove and buy everything hand over fist, a gift. And I'll tell you guys in a second some of the things that I was buying. Ansem says, you are getting gifted a gift of opportunity of the first real deep market pullback. If Trump is aggressive with tariffs plus hawkish Fed walking back rate cuts, ahead of likely the most substantive crypto regulatory environment going into later this year, plus likely a Fed pivot, survive H1 and win an H2, right? Markets are being set up for the win. Now, Fehu just says the same thing I said. Like, when you have a deep crash, there's either a V-shaped recovery, like the COVID one, or there's another one that kind of crashed down, comes back about 40%, and then retests the lowest points, and then slowly makes its way back up again. We'll see which one this is, but just to be aware, right? Just because now it went from 91 to 98 doesn't mean that now let's be full bullish again and go open leverage longs and go aping like crazy. And so let's look at how things are doing. See, even now, I mean, it's still good. I mean, up from 91, 92, things are up. But if we go back over here and look at today, things are still pulling back a little bit. So that's why we need to be careful. There was a bunch of really ambitious moves being made, and including myself, I went and looked at and I bought some of these things. So for me, I was just going to go look at all of my favorite AI agent things, and of course, some of the things on Sui, and go look at which one of those things were like, 50 to 70% discounts from like 30 days ago, right? And so you've got like Virtual's protocol, right? AI16Z down 80% in the last 30 days. Still one of the most popular crypto GitHub repo in the world, open source, doing insane stuff. I picked up some AI XPT finally. It's down like 3x from the high or something. Not down so much, 32%, but still I didn't have any before, so that was good. I picked up a little bit. These were even lower earlier when I did it because they've recovered some. You can see even the past 24 hours, 50%. I got a little bit more of the ARC. I bought a little bit of the Venice because I think that, that Eric Voorhees is good, and that's a totally different use case. It's kind of like it's a different wrapper for all the AI models. And let's keep going. Okay, based AI at $71 million is absolutely crazy for layer 1 protocol. I've got so much based, it's not even funny. So I bought Griffin. Griffin was like down 65% when I started buying it. I bought this one, even though I haven't looked it up yet. Swarm Node SNAI. I've just seen a lot of people talking about it. I don't know. I didn't really have time. It's late, and so I just bought a little bit, like not crazy, obviously, because I didn't know too much about it. Look at this one that we talked about before. Game by Virtuals is down 80%. Pippin. Oh no, it's up quite a bit. But Pippin is down 60% in the past 7 days. Just to give you guys some examples of like some of the crazy discounts up here, that things just like a week ago we were like, oh, I wish I would have gotten that thing cheaper, blah, 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 Oh, I also bought more Fart Coin. And speaking of farts, I also bought more of this unicorn fart dust because I did an interview with Ron, the guy who created this meme coin. I just like him a lot. So I didn't have any before. I just bought myself a bag of this. Stay tuned for the interview with him coming up quite soon. And fascinating story. And Tardy, I bought more Tardy right now on Sui. And to me, this is so obvious. My favorite project on Sui. And it's sitting at $6 million market cap right now. Amazing, guys. All right. So to me, I think that there's going to be a deal made with Canada very soon, probably similar to the one they did with Mexico. It's going to be interesting. Like the thing that shocked me really was the BRICS countries. Like that was nuts. 100% tariffs on anyone who tries to get off the US dollar. That was a bold move. And I also saw an interview with Putin saying that he believes that the EU will be basically bending at the knee for Trump and doing whatever he says. So I think the bull market's back on. I don't think we have anything to worry about, but be careful. Don't be surprised if we do go lower before we go much higher. But at the end of the day, I saw a bunch of people saying, there's no more bull run, it's over, blah, blah, blah. This is all part of the plan, ladies and gentlemen, part of the plan. I'll catch you tomorrow.